Hello folks, this is Brother Samuel with Agape Ministries, and of course I'm outdoors taking you on a virtual walk with me, showing you the beauty of God's creation here. We're going to talk about how not to go crazy in these crazy fake pandemic times, and what to do, how to breathe, to meditate, to connect with God, and even how to take care of business. That's right. Business is not dead if it's international commodities trading business, because everybody uses commodities. Now I'm talking about industrial commodities, not your toilet paper and toothpaste, even though that might be a good realm to pursue if you're a business-minded, entrepreneurially spirited individual who likes to entertain such interesting projects. So folks, today, God willing, you'll learn as much as possible, because this information is not for everyone. Only the 1%ers, 1% perhaps, if that, will be able to register what I'm sharing with you, this precious information. But overall, I would like to sort of encourage you to look at God's creation, go for walks, don't sit at home, don't play video games, don't use iPads, iPhones, there's gadgetry, all that nonsense, because we were not created for that type of a lifestyle. We were created to be outdoors, to enjoy earlier it was beautiful, sunshine, the vitamin D. It's very good for your skin. Do not trust people who tell you to put SPF 30 on your skin. Suntan lotion causes cancer. Do your own research. There are 4 ingredients. When the temperature rises above 86 degrees Fahrenheit or 30 degrees Celsius, it actually causes melanoma or skin cancer. So it's a big industry. See, in the West, everything is money-based. Everybody wants to make a buck. Everybody wants to make a profit. And so my message for you folks today, Agape, by the way, if you're wondering, Agape Ministries, why Agape? Agape is the Greek word for the highest form of divine, unconditional God's love, something that we cannot even comprehend. Everything is held together with God's love or force or providence. And the astrophysicists and astronomers have recently discovered a force that is tangible, that represents something like 85% of the mass of the universe. So everything that we see, like the stars, the galaxies, the planets that we could tangibly see, they only represent approximately 15% of the mass of the universe. The rest is this unknown force that they call dark energy, simply because they cannot see it with telescopes or other measuring equipment. So this dark force could be the presence of God, the agape love, something that holds all the planets and galaxies and everything together. We cannot even comprehend, because the light travels from the sun to us 150 million miles or kilometers. It takes about 8 minutes. So that when the sun, let's say, goes out, when it will be its time, the light was still for about 8 minutes. We'll be able to see it. The light travels 100,000 years from one end of our galaxy, Milky Way, to another. And we just recently, just a few years ago, was a phenomenal event. We received a massive supernova explosion, light from this supernova explosion that traveled 16 billion light years. That's how long the light had traveled. It's unfathomable to even be able to comprehend. So with these distances, in other words, we just received the most massive light. And when the astronomers measured everything that they knew up until this point, just a few years ago, do your own research, these gamma rays from a massive star that exploded, it's hard to even imagine the distance that traveled to us on Earth that we registered with our equipment. That was there for 30 seconds. It was measured by all the equipment, astronomical equipment in various observatories for 30 seconds. The light traveled something like 16 billion. It took the light to travel 16 billion years. Can you picture the distance? We can't. This is where our human brain begins to fail. This is what every astronomer, astrophysicist actually attest to, the fact that we don't know anything about what we thought we knew 10 years ago. It's brand new information, folks. But the point is bringing you back from God's creation, from his realm, from the outer space and the outer limits of our known universe. I'm going to bring you back to Earth. On Earth, we have the good forces and the bad forces, the demons and the angels, the angels of light and the angels of darkness. The angels of darkness cause death, wars, killings, murders, and everything else that is negative. The angels of God, the good angels, are here to protect us if we pray to God, if we have that connection. How do you have a real relationship and connection of God, with God? How do you hear God's voice? I'm going to cover that right now in just a few minutes. First of all, you have to be outdoors. I'm going to actually walk and smell these flowers for you so you could do that same thing. Absolutely heavenly. You should be literally smelling roses or any other flowers that you like to see that are around you. So the first thing is meditation. Breathing is very, very important, folks. Breathing is crucial. We breathe too shallow. We breathe incorrectly. Has to be a very persistent, consistent type of a breathing that I will demonstrate to you right now. So you don't have to search and wait. There's nothing to receive in the mail. It's just right now. I'm going to be giving you all the information on our channel in video content right instantly on your screen. So you ready? The proper way to breathe, to begin to detach from all your problems, from all your issues, from all the stress, and to be on the frequency of God, or to begin to search and find the frequency of God, is to increase the pausing between inhaling and exhaling. Let me demonstrate. So when you inhale, first of all, you have to do that from your diaphragm. In other words, that's what professional singers do. If you're a professional operatically trained singer, you would know exactly what that means, diaphragmatic breathing. And so in this instance, I will simply demonstrate. So you inhale, you pause, and you exhale. And your focus should be 100% on that process continuously, on and on. As soon as you get up to about 60 seconds between inhaling and exhaling, if you can hold without holding, but if you can sort of pause that long, you have arrived. You will never have any illness, mental illness or physical illness. Your CO2 levels will be where they need to be. This is what yogis pursue all their lives. If you want to call them professional yogis, serious yogis, that's what they're trying to achieve. But of course, we're not interested in yoga. We're interested in simply connecting to God. And this is the path to do it, to be in beautiful God's creation, especially outdoors when you hear the water, fountain or a brook, that's called negative ions. You should be immersing yourself in negative ions all the time. So here we go, a demonstration of proper breathing techniques. So you inhale, and so on and so forth. You get the point. The idea is to pause between your inhaling and exhaling and inhaling. So that's a brief introduction to proper breathing. This will help you tremendously. Take it seriously in a dedicated approach. But most importantly, this message is to also introduce you to global commodities trading. Something that I've been doing after I got out of currency trading. I made my first million currency trading when I was 14 and a half. I got out because once you understand how that system works, it's quite dark. In other words, when you make money in a currency business, in the stock market, you're taking it from somebody else's pocket. It's called a zero-sum game. So if you don't make money, you essentially steal money from somebody else, and I don't want to do that. So there's more honor in commodities trading, and still you're able to make $100 grand a month on a low end, and you could have multiple contracts in parallel to each other. So in other words, you don't have to have just one contract. You could have 2, 3, and 4 times 100,000. So you could make $1 million per month, potentially, and that would be, $12 million per year. If you're entrepreneurially minded, if you're very good at business. So if you're a 9-to-5 person, please don't despair. You might be able to try it, and you might be able to successfully finish a transaction. I'm simply bringing you this opportunity as an opportunity. I'm not saying you're going to make any money. It's complicated, involves some negotiations overseas. It's an international business, and I'm willing to introduce you to this business. So you'll be my protege, which is a French word for like my pupil, my student, essentially. So write to me, impress me. If I see the way you write without any grammatical errors and you stand out, I will respond back to you. I'll get back to you and we'll have a session on the telephone, and I'll introduce you to this business. How are you going to write to me? It's very simple. I created a website just for that. If you go to iwantabundancetoday.com, there's a contact us form section. You fill that out completely. And in the message section, be sure to write out your story, where you're located, what's your current occupation, and write in full sentences. Make sure there are no grammatical mistakes, because in this business, and I myself pay very close attention to that. So if you make grammatical mistakes, if you just say, hey, give me some money, it doesn't work that way, folks. You have to be professional. You have to know how to approach somebody, and I'm willing to help you. Just put in your all your effort into saying that you want to get into this business, and I'd be happy to reach out to you. I can't have too many people, but maybe a few proteges a month. I'm willing to invest my time to help you, so you can help other people, you see. But I'm not going to do it for somebody that just simply writes me 2 words, call me or something like that. Here's my number, that's not going to happen. So even, if you can't write well, you need to learn how to do that. Because it's part of this business training. Once you get into this business, you have to know how to keep the business going, how to maintain the relationship is what we call it. And so that's my recommendation to you. If you're business minded, send us a message. Agape Ministries was created to bring this message of hope to people. It's a new type of a church, if you will. It's a church without the traditional church kind of a attendance, because with this fake, stupid COVID-19 pandemic situation, we cannot meet. We cannot see each other face to face anymore. So we have to use a new medium. That's why I'm doing these videos. I'm gonna be, in essence, like your remote virtual pastor here. Pastor Sam or Brother Samuel, teaching you, bringing you closer to God. I will share with you all the health tips. Everything I know that I've accumulated over the years, I will share with you in a very concise, beautiful 4K resolution or 1080p 30 frames per second video content that you can watch at any time. So you can return to it, and basically that's the way we do it these days. All the synagogues and temples and mosques and churches, I believe, will be quite empty for a long time. This is a new world order type of scenario. Indeed, perhaps the Antichrist is doing something to be recognized on the scene, and this is a proper way to do it. If you're Antichrist, this is what you want to do. This is if I was Antichrist, this is exactly what I would do: orchestrate this fake pandemic. In 1942, the British Biological Laboratory created a new type of a similar virus. This is 1942 AD, Anno Domini, in the year of our Lord, during the World War II. World War II started in 39, 41, depending on the country. But so they tried this deadly virus. They were testing this on the island of, I believe it's called Gilead, 2 kilometers west of the Isle of Wales. They wanted to pick a remote island because this new deadly experimental virus was unknown. It could have killed all. So they brought 58 sheep. The following day they came to retrieve the bodies. They found that they were all dead. The sheep died. And they came to retrieve the bodies to take it back to the lab, and they only found 57. They lost 1 sheep. And we probably walked off and, fainted somewhere while I was drinking water. so they didn't find it. It washed up on shore in Wales. The local farmers in Wales and their animals got sick and died. And this virus spread across continental Europe, remember, from an island of Wales to Europe, continental, and went all the way into Eastern Europe, into Siberia, all the way to Japan. And in Siberia, people thought that it was the end of the world because thousands of people were dying for unknown reasons. It was kind of like the Ebola virus, similar symptoms. Deadly. 1942, do your research. This was just recently declassified materials. And so they never revealed who was behind it up until just a few years ago when it was declassified. It's a top secret British military project to be used against the German troops. And they decided not to use it because it's so powerful, folks, that they could have killed all of their own population. The entire population could have been gone if they had used this biological weapon at that time. It was uncontrollable. They essentially created a monstrosity there in their hands. And so every 10 years, the military biological labs around the world would pick up on this virus, analyze it, and further adjust it. So this has been in production for a long time, over 75 years. Now imagine what kind of capability they have today. They could actually spread this virus that's designed not to kill anybody, but just to be present in the people. Maybe the older people, die, but it's going to be in every human being. And drop of a hat, whenever the sign is, they activate a certain frequency, and this virus will react. It will be revived. It just sits dormant inside of you, in all of us, essentially. And then if they want to decrease the population, let's say from 7 billion to 1 billion, in 1 month, this stupid virus could be activated without you being able to do anything. And 1 billion people, or 6 billion people would be dead, 1 billion remaining. Those who have the right vaccine, of course, will remain. The elite, the upper class, the ruling class of America, of Europe, of Asia, will probably remain, no matter what. It's just like 9/11, remember? When the buildings fell, with the corner of my eye, I saw the TV screen. I said, no, buildings like that don't fall. Just with the corner of my eye, just basic human analysis. With the corner of my eye, I said, no, those buildings were made to withstand that type of impact. And a few months later, there was a report that was put out by 1,500 professional civil engineers who got together and they filed their own report as professionals who were involved in demolition projects across the world. 1,500 civil engineers who wrote that those buildings could not have fallen down. They were simply evaporated with some unknown weapon from the sky. Those two buildings turned into dust, pulverized. They got pulverized, folks. And every person who has ever been involved, every civil engineer who was ever involved in demolition, they know that the building collapses on itself and leaves a 30% pileup. So if the building is 100 stories tall, the pileup of the debris should be about 30 stories tall. And if you look at 9/11, the Twin Towers footage, it's level. In other words, some kind of a beam was beaming down from the sky, from outer space, that pulverized all the material until they reached the ground level. If they had not turned off if they didn't turn off the signal, it would have made a hole in the ground, in the basement. But because they turned it off just right, folks, it was level. There was no debris left. And I only noticed that with any deep analysis, with the corner of my eye, when I saw it on the TV screen, when I saw that the building started to fall. So imagine what kind of technology they have today. It will be no longer tanks and rockets and missiles and airplanes. It will be this type of biological / economic warfare. All the countries' economies are collapsing completely. And so what do we have, folks? We have a new type of warfare. We have a new type of, we have a new type of responsibility on our shoulders to be able to discern the times, the spirit of the age, or Zeitgeist in German, is so that it actually dictates, it changes with every generation, and it's our duty to recognize the change and to at least be aware of it, and to recognize that everything is different today. Everything is new. And folks, this could be the end times. Jesus might be coming anytime, so we have to be prepared. And on this note, I would like to conclude by saying there's hope. I'm very optimistic. I'm an eternal optimist, in fact. You'll never hear any negativity. I'm simply bringing up to your attention the things that are not right. But I'm optimistic. We can overcome it. God will help us. Research Catherine DeHook's retreat in Canada. She specifically created, a bunch of log cabins for people to come out there and do the 7-day fasting and meditative kind of experience while you're doing the breathing exercise and while you're reading your scriptures, while you're connecting with God. And during that time, you will not speak, because God will speak to you when you are silent. And so the idea is basically that you need to be silent to hear the voice of God. And at that point, what happens is, while you're on that retreat, if you cannot get away for 7 days at your own house, if you have children, animals, and friends coming over and distractions, at that retreat in Canada, you will be richly blessed. If you want to reach God, you need to look into going to Canada or to some other retreat where you could be alone for 7 days, to dedicate, to meditate, to connect with God. So on this note, folks, I will leave you with my benediction. May the angels of God be with you, protecting you and your entire family. May God send an army of angels to be around you. May you be healthy, wealthy, and at peace at all times. God bless you. God bless America. God bless the world. And may God bless our universe. And may God allow us to get a little bit closer to His realm, where we could recognize who we are, what we are, and our full potential. On this note, I will leave you in this peaceful, serene environment. Try to always, walk outdoors, jog, play tennis, bike, whatever but we're designed for this, folks. Don't stay at home. My message is, do not stay at home. Stay away from the gadgets. Be outdoors in prayer and meditation. Watch my videos over and over again until some of the things that I say, there's a lot of wisdom concentrated in a condensed format that I've accumulated over the years. So, God bless you. Take care. And I want to leave you with this peaceful evening sunset that I'm sure you can find wherever you live in the world. And most importantly, if you have a forgiveness issue, if you have some unforgiving issues with your family or friends or your ex-spouse, you need to find a way to basically let them off the hook. Forgive them from the bottom of your heart. Not that you will just simply say, yeah, I forgive you. No, from the bottom of your heart. It's between you and God, between you and you. As long as you keep the grudge, it's only going to hold you back. You have to let go. Anybody who's hurt you, your ex-husband, your ex-wife, whoever, you have to forgive them. If you can do that, you will be rewarded with peace, with meditation on a new level, and with the ability to hear from God. So, on this note, take care. God bless you. And stay tuned for our new videos that I hope to inspire you with. I hope will be not only inspirational, but also educational, that you can learn something. Because after all, folks, we're here on this planet for about 5 minutes, and then we're gone. We come from eternity past, we stay in this eternal place today, and we leave into eternity future. We only are given roughly 5 minutes in the eyes of eternity. And if you're already 30 or 40 years old, you spent 2.5 minutes of that 5. So you have to know, you know, what are you going to do, what you need to do, where you need to go. So spend that time, 2.5 minutes remaining on this planet wisely. Of course, tomorrow is not guaranteed. It's a gift from God. We don't know when we're going to return to the other side. So we have to treat every day as our last. And that's what I try to do. I highly recommend you also do the same. See, this is like a heavenly spot here. The birds are flying, beautiful swallows. The sun is setting. And in these tumultuous, crazy times, you can find peace. You could be at peace, and you could be sure that God is with you. So take care. God bless you. I'll see you at the very top.